Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. Coming up in today's newscast, the Palestinian president says Lieberman could be a partner for peace. Iran has a new anti-Israel cartoon contest, and thanks to an Israeli company, you can now make a beer from your own home in just a few seconds. I'm Denise Wood here with the latest news in Israel. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is speaking out on the new Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman and is saying he'll judge him by his actions, not his political party. Abbas claims that right-wing Israeli governments have made peace in the past, in reference to former Prime Minister Menachem Begin's peace treaty with Egypt. While a lot of Israelis have been critical of Lieberman's appointment as defense minister, the Palestinian president says it's a positive thing that Lieberman said he supports a two-state solution on his very first day in office. Abbas claims the Israeli right can initiate the peace process and called on all Israelis to support peace with the Palestinians. Lieberman is known for his hawkish attitude on defense issues, but since he was appointed, he's made a number of moderate comments. Lieberman told a group of top army officers that national unity is more important than holding on to territory. He also vowed to prevent unnecessary conflicts and end ongoing wars of attrition. Israeli cabinet minister Dr. Yuval Steinitz says he believes there's a real possibility of progress in the peace process.
In the Arab world and the Muslim world, more and more leaders are willing to realize, to recognize that Israel is a very important country that helps to fight terrorism and to stabilize the region. And if we can use this in order to give another chance for the peace process with the backing of the Arab and Muslim world, with the understanding that Israel should be recognized and legitimized, this is something that we shall try.
However, it looks like there's still some opposition to a peace deal in Israel's government. The Jewish Home Party is now vowing that there won't be a Palestinian state as long as they're in the government. Party leader and education minister Naftali Bennett and Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked say they have 3 no's, which they say are no Palestinian state, no settlement evacuation, and no land given to Israel's enemies. This all comes as both Lieberman and Prime Minister Netanyahu are speaking out in support of the Arab Peace Initiative. And Netanyahu claims it has positive elements that could help revive peace talks with the Palestinians. This week, the first ever international summit is being held at the UN General Assembly on fighting the BDS movement against Israel, and you'll definitely want to check it out. More than 2,000 pro-Israel activists gathered in the UN General Assembly to take part in the summit, which is devoted to fighting the BDS movement against Israel. The Israeli UN mission, the World Jewish Congress, and a number of other groups joined forces to organize the event.
The United Nations was created 70 years ago on the carnage of World War II. It was created on the broken bones of the Jewish people, with the pledge that the world would never see again the kind of human destruction that the Nazis forced on our people. But now, just 70 years later, this organization, of all places, has singled out the only Jewish state in the world, Israel, with lie after lie after lie. So it's no accident that we chose to look at an equally dishonest campaign against the Jews, the BDS movement, right here in the United Nations.
Although he wasn't in attendance, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu also sent a video message that was shown at the conference.
Why does the BDS movement focus on an open society like Israel and not the mass murdering dictatorships of North Korea, Iran, or Syria? See, because BDS has nothing to do with human rights, nothing to do with justice. All of you gathered today are the real freedom fighters, the real champions of justice. Israel is a strong and prosperous democracy which will always seek peace. There's nothing BDS can do to change that. With your help, this immoral and foolish movement will fail even faster. Thank you for combating the lie of BDS. Thank you for defending the truth about Israel. I'm proud of each and every one of you.
The summit is the largest gathering to date that's focused specifically on battling the BDS movement. and it was attended by students, activists, dignitaries, and Jewish leaders. The event's theme was building bridges, not boycotts, and it included a number of workshops for students like fighting BDS on campus and legal aspects of boycotts. And that's not all. Jewish hit singer Matisyahu even performed at the summit and sang his hit song Jerusalem. The singer has some history with the boycott movement, as BDS supporters tried to have him banned from performing the song last summer at a festival in Spain because of his support for Israel. We'll let you listen to his performance to make up your own mind about the song, which talks about the singer's great love for Israel's capital.
Jerusalem, if I forget you. Fire and gun come from me tongue. Jerusalem, if I forget you. Let my right hand forget what it's supposed to do. Jerusalem, if I forget you. Fire and gun come from me tongue. Jerusalem, if I forget you.
When you think about cyber technology, camels probably aren't the first thing that come to mind. Israel is well known for being a pioneer in the field of cybersecurity, and it turns out a lot of its initiatives are based in the desert. ILTV's Steve Leibovitz sat down with the Director General of the Prime Minister's Office, Eli Groner, to talk about cyber defense methods, new initiatives, and how they ended up turning the desert into Israel's cyber hub.
In an interconnected world with incredible computer horsepower, unthinkable almost, we're much more exposed. And anyone who believes that there's real privacy anymore is probably fooling himself. Having said that, Israel is in a very, very good place cybersecurity-wise. We're actually, I think, one of the world leaders in cybersecurity. I don't think it, I know it. And it's really a result of a number of government initiatives led by Prime Minister Netanyahu. The first initiative was actually taking all the military bases and moving them to the south. You know, there was a vision back from the days of Ben Gurion to take Israel's Negev and make it grow by putting in uneconomic textile plants, but artificially creating jobs so that it would be populated. Now, the vision of Ben Gurion's was a great one. What Prime Minister Netanyahu is doing is actually making it more economically viable and at the same time turning Beersheba into a cyber world power. What do I mean by that? On one hand, we're taking all the military bases, including many military intelligence bases, and moving them towards the Negev, towards Beersheba. What we've also done is, again, this initiative of the Prime Minister, is to take tax breaks for cyber companies that will establish themselves in Beersheba. And we're giving them very significant tax breaks because we want them to move to Beersheba. And then the third thing we're doing is we're actually creating partnerships with Ben Gurion University in the Negev. So by these three levers that we've been pulling, we're actually creating this cybersecurity ecosystem, which is critical for the future of Israel. To your point, we live in a very dangerous world, and cyber threats will be here for the foreseeable future. And we always need to be a step ahead of the attackers. It's like a form of terror. You have to combat terror all the time. It never ends. It's the same thing with cyber terror, and cybersecurity is around to offset that. And the fact of the matter is, the Israeli mind is particularly adept at cybersecurity because in order to develop the best technologies, you need to have minimal trust. You need to constantly think a step ahead of your enemy, and you need to be strong in mathematics and computer science. Those are areas that Israelis tend to be good at, which is why we're able to be the cyber power that we are today. But that doesn't guarantee that we will be a cyber power 10 years from now, which is why we're working so diligently on these policies.
Some would say that not only are we good at cyber security, we're also good offensively with our cyber program. Some people mention something called Stuxnet and attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities, but without going into that, there is a great deal of expertise, as you mentioned.
You know, some people say the best defense is good offense.
Okay, fair enough. But without, of course, I can't get your confirmation that we were involved in that directly, but certainly that's the international speculation. But I will say this, a lot of it is developed inside the Army, and a lot of that also spins off into great startups when people leave the Army and they have great expertise. What kind of an export product is cybersecurity for us?
Cybersecurity is a tremendous export product because every company in the world needs it. There's not a Fortune 1000 company that doesn't need cyber, and we happen to be among the best in the world at cyber. Think about this for a minute. I'm going to give you a statistics which I think is startling. In 2014, not that long ago, year and a half ago, 2014, 10% of global private investment in the world in cyber was in Israel. Think about that. We're less than 0.1% of the world's population, and 10% of global private investment in cyber was in Israel. Mind-boggling, right? Right. In 2015, the number doubled, almost 20%. We're punching 200 times above our weight class, if you think about it in terms of proportional.
What size export product is it? I mean, how much?
I don't know the exact numbers, but think about this. Every single company needs it. Every financial institution needs cybersecurity. Look what happened to Sony. Look what happened to Target. Everyone needs it. Everyone understands that they need it, and they're always going to need it. It's not a solution that you can just come up with one solution and you're over. There's constantly developments. There's constantly adaptations. So we're actually very well positioned on this front.
We told you recently about how Iran was holding a Holocaust-themed cartoon contest. Well, that ended yesterday, and now they've opened yet another anti-Israel competition. But this time, they say its theme is the Zionist Caliphate. Just yesterday, an Iranian museum kicked off the competition, which has a number of themes, including the Zionist Caliphate, along with Zionism, terrorism, racism, and the Islamic State terrorism and genocide in the name of religion, to benefit the Zionists. The name of the last category seems to imply that the Islamic State terror group's actions are either backed by Israel or is to benefit Israel. The contest is sponsored by the Iranian Cultural Art Masaf Institute, and contestants can win up to $5,000 prizes. Contestants in the portrait section of the competition are asked to focus on Theodore Herzl and British Queen Elizabeth, with a special emphasis on the Nakba, or the expelling of the Palestinians from Israel when the state was established in 1948. The contest was announced just one day after the country's Holocaust cartoon contest ended, which was denounced by a number of bodies, including the US, Israel, Germany, and UNESCO. Israel's made up of immigrants from all over the world, which means it's a mix of languages and cultures. But sometimes new immigrants realize that things they loved in their home country don't exist in Israel. So what happens next? That's exactly what happened to Sylvia Duran, who's originally from South Africa and an incredible flamenco dancer. And she's single-handedly responsible for bringing flamenco dancing to Israel. She's here with us today to tell us more. Thank you so much for coming in. So first of all, you basically brought flamenco dancing to Israel. How did that happen?
Well, I was living in Spain from the age of 17, and I danced with Antonio, and I danced with Luisillo. I danced with very famous companies.
Sure.
And then I was a representative for Spanish culture with the Ministry of in Spain. I came to Israel during the Yom Kippur War, and I fell in love with the country. And I decided that I would like to come and build a generation of Spanish Israeli dancers.
Sure.
I was told it's going to be very difficult because Israel for you will be an artistic desert because there's no flamenco here. Anyway, I came, and I knew what I wanted to do. And one of the things that really made me sure of myself was that I said, when I was dancing in the army for 6 months during the war, I mean the war and the aftermath, because
Sure.
there was an aftermath, I was dancing for the people of Israel. The army is the people. So no one can tell me that I don't have a public, because there's the public of the very cultured Philharmonic, and there's the company, the public of the more folkloristic people, and there's, there's a public of everything.
Definitely.
And they were all mixed up, and it was a good public. And I was right. It took me a long time and a lot of bureaucracy
Sure.
to get there, but I performed. I managed to perform, and it was very successful, and I had 5 solo programs, 5 solo recital
Wow.
programs, until I bought my studio, and I decided I'm going to do my thing of making the generation of Israeli Spanish dancers.
Now, on a different note, you're also an official representative with the Spanish embassy, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, when the first Spanish ambassador came to Israel, Don Pedro Aquiribengoa, he came to see a performance in my studio of my students. And he was so impressed that he actually put me into the embassy as that it went from ambassador to ambassador.
Amazing.
Because when he left, he told the next ambassador, "Oh, you must know that Sylvia's." And I think what he said, and he said it makes a window for people to learn about Spanish culture the right way, because what he was most impressed, and what all the ambassadors are impressed about, is the authenticity of what we do.
Of course.
And not that it's something commercial and something as if Spanish, they say in Spanish, españolada. It's not españolada, it's authentic, and we try to do our best that it should always have a dignity.
Definitely. Now, I understand you have a performance coming up that's also related to the embassy, correct?
Yes, on the 24th of June, it's a Friday evening at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a special performance to honor the 30 years of diplomatic relations between Spain and Israel. And I was given the permission to use their logo for the 30 years. And there will be representatives of the Spanish embassy at the performance.
Amazing. So really from the beginning until now, you have been a part of that.
Yes, I really feel part of them because, as I say, every ambassador comes and they come and they see the work, and then they know what I'm doing. And in 2008, the King of Spain bestowed on me it's like a CBE in England. It's the Commander of the Order of Civil Merit, which is it's for service to the Spanish nation and for Spanish culture.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like you more than deserve it. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'm so excited to see how the show goes.
I hope you'll come.
I definitely will. The Israeli company SodaStream is known for its fizzy-flavored drinks that you can make from the comfort of your own home. And now it's even come out with a new beer system. So if you've ever dreamed of a quick and easy way to make your own beer, you'll want to check it out. You've probably heard of SodaStream before, since it's released popular commercials with stars like Scarlett Johansson. The company also had a factory in the West Bank that employed a number of Palestinian workers, which it had to shut down because of the boycotts by the BDS movement. But it looks like the company is back in action. For years now, people have been posting clips on YouTube showing how to fix a flat beer by using the Israeli SodaStream system. And now SodaStream has launched its own new home beer system called Beer Bar. SodaStream is using its original system to make a quality home-crafted beer using sparkling water and unique beer concentrate. The Beer Bar is now offering a light beer called Blondie that it says has a smooth, authentic taste and a hop-filled aroma. The Beer Bar enables customers to brew their own crafted beer in seconds by adding Blondie concentrate to sparkling water. Blondie contains 4.5% alcohol, and 1 liter bottle of Blondie yields about 3 liters of beer. The announcement was a hit in the stock market, and the company's shares on the Nasdaq rose by 10% after it released its marketing for the new beer system. It's Gay Pride Week in Israel, and people from around the world are flocking to Tel Aviv to take part in the festivities. ILTV's Natasha Kirchuk met up with some special visitors from North America to hear about why the gay community loves Israel so much.
Israel is a liberal powerhouse when it comes to promoting gay rights in the Middle East. The Jewish Federations of North America has brought the largest group ever from the LGBTQ community to Israel, and they'll be traveling around the Holy Land to experience Gay Pride Week.
We represent more than 100 leaders and activists from throughout North America. We are focused on building bridges with the LGBT community and those throughout Israel.
This is my first time in Israel. It's been a trip I've wanted to go on for many, many years. I've been so excited to be here. I've learned so much. I've been so impressed with the welcome that we've gotten.
The Jewish Federations of North America represents over 151 Jewish communities throughout North America. This year, they've organized a special mission to bring Jewish people from the LGBTQ community together throughout the world.
We needed to band together as queer Jews to come to Israel, to build bridges with this community, and to learn about where we can make a difference here for the LGBT community. There are many people here who have never been to Israel, and bringing them here gives them that sense of community and home that they had always missed because they were gay or lesbian or trans.
Israel has long been a leader when it comes to promoting the rights of people from the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community. LGBT rights in the Holy Land are the most advanced in the Middle East. Gays and lesbians are allowed to serve openly in the military, and Israeli legislation protects the LGBTQ community from being discriminated against in the workplace and school.
I think the most important thing about which Israel can be proud is the fact that when it comes to legislation and the law, Israel has been way ahead of most countries. Israel was a leader, and that should be recognized. The Jewish community as a whole is beginning to recognize that LGBT inclusion is as important as any other type of inclusion within the Jewish community. We're stronger when we're together.
Recent polls have indicated that the majority of Israelis support same-sex marriage, despite some social conservatism. Tel Aviv is considered to be one of the most gay-friendly cities in the world, and it's famous for its annual Gay Pride Parade. Last week, Israel even held its first ever transgender beauty pageant, and an Arab-Israeli Christian took home the crown. Why do you think Israel is a leader when it comes to LGBTQ rights?
Maybe the history is of the people who've been through a lot, and tend to then try and look at everyone as equals. And I think when you consider everyone equals, all of us are considered equal under God, that treating LGBT persons as part of that equality measure is really a key reason why I think the society is so inclusive.
There's still a lot more work to be done in terms of promoting LGBTQ rights in Israel. That's why the Jewish Federations of North America are pushing to bring more American LGBTQ visitors to the Holy Land.
There's been great progress, say, in municipal Tel Aviv, but it's harder out in the periphery for many reasons, not just for LGBT people, but it's an opportunity now to expand that. And we took a trip up to the north. We were at Kibbutz SodaStream. This is a way of branching out and making that inclusion much more inclusive of the whole country and of the whole Jewish people. We are the community. We are the sons and daughters and brothers and sisters and parents, in many cases, of other Jews. This is family.
Same-sex marriage has yet to be legalized in the Holy Land. But no matter how much work needs to be done to help advance gay rights in Israel, members of the JFNA LGBTQ mission say Israel has been very welcoming of their visit.
This is important for Israelis. The Israeli government, the Israeli LGBT community, the celebrity community, the artists and the rest are very happy to have us here too. That really makes a difference. We're not here begging.
I'm really looking forward to going to the Pride Festival. I know it's one of the biggest in the world, and I've heard wonderful things about how everyone comes out to support it in Tel Aviv.
So if you're looking to celebrate Gay Pride Week, Israel is a perfect place to come. I'm Natasha Kirchuk reporting for ILTV.
Today's word is shtia, which means drink in Hebrew. This word actually comes from the Hebrew verb to drink, which is lishtot. If you come to the Holy Land, we assume you'll want to check out some of Israel's amazing restaurants. And if you do, this word is definitely important. There's usually an entire section on the menu for shtia, or drinks, which is always a good place to start. If you see the phrase shtia kala, it means soft drinks, like sodas, juices, and sparkling water. Israel is also known for having amazing yain, or wine. So if you're in the mood to try something stronger, you definitely have some good options. Because no matter what you're drinking, there's nothing like sitting down for a drink with an old friend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. Today it's 85 and sunny, and tomorrow the beautiful weather should continue with a high of 83. All right, everybody, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.85 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv, and don't forget to check out our evening update every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and see you tonight.